It's great to be back here on the Mobile World Congress stage with a lot of you that I've known for a long time. And it's even better to be here at a time when security and privacy and trust as a currency is so central to all of our conversations. It's also a great day for us at AVG because today we announced we've passed 200 million users worldwide, including 100 million alone in mobile. And this is a significant achievement for us because it puts security back at the very center of the ecosystem, and it's something we're particularly proud of. But of all that, I want to turn our attention to something that affects every one of us, and that's trust as a currency. And this is something that I'm calling an inalienable human right, and it's something that I believe in the mobile ecosystem today is under tremendous threat. So I'm going to share some ideas on how we, as an entire ecosystem, can elevate the trust that users expect from us. But let's start with the obvious. It's a brave new world out there. We talked about a platform shift, and just as we were getting used to smartphones, we went and blinked and got ourselves right in the middle of another platform shift. And in my life alone, and I'm not that old, I've seen 7 platform shifts, from the mainframe all the way down now through smartphones, tablets, and wearables, the Internet of Things. But what's fascinating about this is when I really think about it from a human point of view, every single platform shift gets closer and closer to our skin. And now, as a result of that, we are sharing information that is far more personal and far more valuable. Our pulse, our sleep patterns, how much we sweat. I sweat a lot, apparently. Where I go, how fast I drive my car. The G-force when I actually turn a corner, I didn't realize until I read the end user license agreement of the car. And we're sharing all this information, in most cases, without even realizing it. And more of us are sharing it around the world than ever before. The statistics we all know. The internet is actually not that old. It's only 22 years old. And already 3 billion people have connected online. And we've coined a whole set of terms. One of them is we're moving at internet speed, which I think has just become a euphemism for industries, products, people, companies, and in some cases countries that couldn't keep up. But if we think we're moving fast here over the last 22 years, we better grab a hold because the next 5 years are going to be crazy. We are going to double again the internet population in just the next 5 years. So the question I have is, what are we all doing? Well, the most amazing statistic that I've heard in the last year is that it's estimated that 90% of all the world's data has been created in just the last 2 years. So who's creating this data? Well, we are. Over 60% of it is created by us, user-generated content, stuff that we're posting online, some that we know, some that we don't know, blogs, pictures, things that we store, plus all of that personal data I talked about earlier. So I started thinking about this, and I said, well, what are our rights to that data? How should we think about this? What are the terms of service? Do I even know? And it turns out, no, I really don't. So we had our team, our innovation team in Amsterdam, as it were, build up an application that crawls through the web from a mobile device. We haven't commercialized this, we don't know that we will, but we entered all of our names into it, and we came back with a shocking set of data. Now, only one of us was willing to stand up, that was me, but one of us was willing to be completely slandered here at Mobile World Congress, and one of our product evangelists, Tony Anscombe, has willingly agreed for me to show his data. And here's what it shows. First of all, we think Tony's a one-of-a-kind person. Turns out he isn't. There's many of them. So we picked the right Tony, and the product actually shows by category what data is available in public record in sub-second response time on Tony. Here's some obvious ones: your address, where you live, so on and so forth. And now, by the way, when our address is posted online, it in and of itself is not that shocking. But then when we get a map that tells exactly how to get to our house, that kind of looks a little bit more graphic, but still not that shocking. We have other categories: property, professional history, education. These pull up what you'd expect in a public setting. But we kept going, and we found family. And again, the fact that Tony's available online, not that surprising. But what we found was not only is Tony available, but his wife and all of her vital statistics were available, and his son. Now, we've intentionally obfuscated the data. We've changed this so that it's not so specific for this public presentation. But if you can see his son, 5 to 15 years old, it actually gave the precise age. It gave the precise name. It gave the precise school that he attended, the precise birthday. These are our children, available online, associated to us. So we kept going. And what I found was not the data that you'd expect, but the data that starts to form the mosaic of who we are. Tony's, likes and dislikes. If any of us have ever wondered what happens to the thumbs up or thumbs down that we do online, how that gets collected, what happens for it. If anybody's wondered what happens to blogs that we comment on, or articles that we share, or articles we download or print, this is what happens. It starts to collect into a profile that software can now pull together to create the picture of you. In Tony's case, he likes some pretty nice brands. Apparently we're paying Tony too much. Ducati, I don't know if he owns one, but some weird songs, and some political affiliations. Now, I think the world has seen some evidence of the impact of political affiliations on both our careers and lives. This is the picture that's formed of us. And even more shocking, which we can't show all today, just in the pure measure of what we can project on a screen, are the images. And I don't mean the hundreds of images you'd expect for a product evangelist to be available through many of the search terms, but the thousands upon thousands of images of Tony, his family, his friends, his cars, his vacation pictures that are now formed into a profile of Tony that are pulled from the web. So what does all this mean? Why am I talking about it? We are all professionals. We're all mostly above the age of majority. Some of us don't act that way all the time, but we're there. So what does this mean? Well, I can pretty much assure you each and every one of us can rationalize why this information, it's the currency of the web is the common thing I hear. Well, I can guarantee you that an 8-year-old coming online for the very first time in their life has no idea that everything they do is forming the mosaic that they have to then carry on their back for the rest of their life. I can guarantee you they have no idea. That's the world that we've created, and we have to address it. And you might ask, does this have an impact on business? Well, with the Mobile Economic Forum, we commissioned a survey last year where we shared with 15,000 people their ideas and thoughts. And we asked them questions. Nearly half of them said that lack of perceived trust has been a major reason why they have rejected an application or service. 40% of them said privacy and security are core decision factors in choosing a new device. And nearly 3/4 of all of the surveyed people said that they are very unhappy to extremely unhappy that they have to share information and that they have to share all of it. They do not get a choice. It's you share all of it or you don't get the application. So if you don't think this hits our bottom line, the data tells us something very, very different. It's time for us to step up. The last 22 years have been an amazing rise and an amazing progression. It's been the digital revolution. But I submit to you that that revolution has already happened. We actually don't even need to talk about it anymore. It's time for a new revolution. It's time for a trust revolution. And when I think about trust revolution, I start to ask myself, how do we possibly get started? It's a daunting task, and the word trust is such a huge word. So rather than just talk about it, I said as a company, and as a public company with all of the regulations associated with being listed on the New York Stock Exchange, we're going to take some bold steps, and we're going to share our experiences. And we made some mistakes, and we're going to do some things well. And I'm going to present to you 3 pillars of a new code that I submit we have to all step up for. The first is code in the products that we deliver to users everywhere. They have to get much, much, much simpler and designed for the human, not for the technology. The second code is the way we engage our user. The policies and terms of service that we actually expect them to subscribe to use our technology. And the third code is what we should expect consumers and people around the world to behave according to as they go online. And what they're telling us increasingly is now that they're becoming aware of the risks, they need to be educated on how they should adapt their behaviors. Let's talk about each of these in a little bit more depth. First of all, the tools and technologies. In that same survey, we asked the question, are you concerned about your online safety and privacy online? And 90% of them, just a little over 90%, said they are. And then we asked them, are you doing something about it? And less than a quarter of them said they're actually doing something about it. We asked the question, why not? And we got a lot of answers back, but they basically all pointed back to this. It is just way too complex and way too difficult. This picture is my life. I operate my life on 3 platforms, Android, a Windows machine, and a couple of Mac OS and iOS-based machines. And if I just engage with 4 security products, which is not enough for all the protection that I'd like to have in my life, an AV product, an internet suite with basically a firewall, a password manager, and parental controls technology, and I install it on my Android device, it looks like this. Then I hit the Windows devices, it looks like that. And then I add it to both my Mac OS and iOS-based devices, and it looks like that. The picture should be clear, even though it's messy. I've created a 3 or a 4x4 complication matrix, 16 different products I have to download and manage in my life, times 3 people in my family, that's 50 products. Many of you have more people in your family. It doesn't scale. We have to make it much simpler, and we have to make it work together. To do that, a year ago, we launched an initiative where, despite the fact that our individual products were doing well, we said we're going to tie them all together. We're going to put them inside an entirely intuitive new interface. We called it AVG Zen. We launched version 1, and we made a commitment to deliver it for free to 1 billion people. Today, I'm telling you that we've launched version 2, and I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek at what that looks like.
Last year, we announced Zen, a product focused on enabling protection, privacy, and performance across all your devices. This year, we're launching the latest version. This is all about enabling trust, protecting privacy, and delivering simplicity. AVG Zen is all about people, protecting our families, protecting our data. Whether we need to know our children are safe, whether we need to know our financial details are safe, and when we need to carry out those everyday tasks, AVG Zen simplifies our complex lives. It gives you control of your data. It even incorporates wearables. The complexity of the Internet of Things in a single button. AVG Zen is very much part of the trust revolution.
Now, we launched this product with the vision of dramatically simplifying consumer security so that we are not naked as we are growing our online life. And we maintain that commitment to deliver the base level product for no charge to the consumer for the next 1 billion people. That's our commitment. The second part of code is how we engage with our users. And this is a fascinating story, and it hit me not too long ago on a Saturday. My 10-year-old daughter, at the time, was downloading a single-player, non-interactive, non-web-connected game. And we have a little agreement, her and I, that when she's surfing on the web, if she comes up against something that she doesn't know what it is, she immediately comes to me. Well, this is a pretty typical scenario. So she looked at it and said, I don't know what to do. There's not many words here. It said end user license agreement. We took off a couple of words for the sake of clarity on a slide. And she said, Daddy, what do I do? And I said, well, let me take a look. So I clicked on it. And it took me to a page on the mobile device with a font so small, I am not sure we make glasses thick enough to read it. So I said, I'm pretty crafty. I'm going to take that URL, that big, long alphanumeric mess, and I'm going to type it into an actual huge desktop at home. And I took a look at it there. Well, it didn't get much better. Now, understand, this is what the game looks like. It's not actually the game. We, of course, don't want to call anybody out. But this was a major worldwide entertainment company that was delivering this game to an audience of 8 to 11-year-olds. And when I went online to my huge desktop machine where I could actually read it, here's what the privacy policy included. These are actual words. We and third-party service providers collect. Now, let me point that out. It's not we might collect. We collect such information from you through your mobile device, including name, device identifiers, GPS location, browser history, chat, or messaging activity. Somebody, please explain to me why a massive worldwide company needs to collect this information on a 10-year-old girl. What do they do with it? Why don't they tell me what they do with it? Why is this so difficult? So I took this one step further and said, wow, I'm at risk too. So using the basis of a Carnegie Mellon study that was conducted last year, I had our team pull all the applications on my phone that I currently have and all my browsing history for the last 2 weeks. Yes, all my browsing history. And I said, pull all the privacy policies, print them, and tell me about them. And using the basis of that Carnegie Mellon study, we came up with the reality that for me to read all those privacy policies would take 76 days. By the way, that's a small amount of time than the years that it would take me to earn a law degree to understand what it is that I've actually read. And it occurred to me these privacy policies are not actually policies that are telling the user what they should do to protect themselves. They're policies that are telling the user what we're going to do to you. We got this wrong. So we are incorporating the second challenge, which is the one-page challenge. And that one-page challenge is for each and every one of us in the industry to get our privacy policies down to one page that can be read on a mobile device in plain, ordinary human language. And it should answer. By the way, this is our cut at it. And I'll tell you, it wasn't a trivial amount of work, but we took a big plunge. And now it's readable on a mobile devices, and this is actual. And it answers such questions as, why do you collect my data? What do you do with my data? What rights do I have over my data? And the answers are in plain human speak. I don't know why this has to be so hard. I don't know why we can't have an honest conversation. We have to step up. The third and final part of the new code is how we expect users to behave. And they're asking us for help, educate us on how we should behave. So we kicked off an initiative, and we're going to publish much more about this, called Smart User. And the initiative looks something like this. Let's not just create smartphones, let's create smart users. And this initiative is being led by our General Counsel, Harvey Anderson, who has spent a lifetime in this field of many different companies. Many of you in the room will know him. And we are dedicated to setting an example of how we can educate users. And we have joined together with partners, 2 of which we're not quite ready to announce, but we're very proud of, a very big operator in the US and a worldwide media company that are going to join with us in this Smart User. We'll publish a website, a lot more information, examples of how we can educate on everything from how to behave online, what types of things are appropriate, how we can protect our privacy. And the idea is if we make these short and sound bites, we can help educate a world that needs to be educated.
I was wondering if you could compliment me.
I like your shirt.
I love your red nails. They're amazing. Your hair is fierce.
I like your shoes. I like your pants.
Thank you so much. Can you say something mean about me to my face?
I'm not sure. Well, I couldn't, because that's really disgusting and rude. Like, why would you even do that?
And there we are. If you don't do it in real life, why do it online? Smart User. So these are the 3 pillars that we're stepping forward and making commitments to the world for. It is part of what we believe is the trust revolution. Are they enough? No. But if we all join together, are they a great start? Absolutely. Again, we'll be publishing much more information on each one of these. I hope you'll join us in this most important part of the journey, the next phase of developing trust and elevating all of us in mobile. And I thank you for listening.